All right, everybody, here we are in Vicky 3 Academy, and we are discussing another critical technology today, and it's going to be empiricism. And for those of you in the back who are like howling with mad delight, you'll understand why. But for those of you who don't understand, let's talk it through. So, what does empiricism do for you? It gets you a 10% bonus on influence, so that's nice. It means that you get a little bit more generation, which means that you can maintain more relationships while also maintaining that infamy decay. That's okay. Like, that's fine. That's not really worth prioritizing. Max education institution investment, that's potentially quite useful depending on how your bureaucracy is structured. I typically recommend that people not build up their bureaucracy whenever they're in hereditary bureaucrats. But if you're in appointed or elected bureaucrats, then building up your education sector is actually very good. And that's a plus one max education and institution investment is a big deal. You do get some from rationalism. But like, there's not a lot of opportunities to increase your education. But that's, again, not why we're excited about it. We're excited about it because it lets you form this party, the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party is sort of like the most important tool when it comes to developing a liberal country in Victoria 3, and for like pretty understandable reasons. So the first thing that you need to understand, of course, is the way distribution of power works. The more autocratic it is, the more you are going to ultimately rely upon wealth to determine the political clout of your IGs, because they're going to receive an awful lot of their political strength from wealth. But the more democratic you get, the more political strength from votes in an election you'll accumulate. But if you don't have empiricism, then your intelligentsia cannot form a political party and therefore cannot benefit from collecting those votes. And so the empiricism technology kind of is super important, because if you want to go into democracy, you need to do it. But honestly, like, a lot of the videos in the Academy are aimed towards helping you build a stronger nation. You want to democratize. Depending on what your goals are, you may not necessarily want to switch out of monarchy. If you're trying to go into council republic, for instance, it makes a lot of sense to stay monarchy until you can click this, because then your Republican friends will say, well, anything's better than a monarchy. But distribution of power, this crap's terrible. You don't want this. It's awful. Political strength of aristocrats is like the worst text that could be printed on anything. And so the further you get away from that, the better. And of course, the more that you distribute the power, ultimately you'll be generating more and more political strength and prestige for these other guys, and that's going to really help you out. But I think the most important thing is just being able to get your intelligentsia strong, because if you can get your intelligentsia strong by giving them a lot of clout, they'll help you pass a lot of really good laws. And intelligentsia, they are sort of a time agnostic thing, because you don't need to be industrialized at all to employ them. You don't need a single industry in order to employ them, except for paper, I guess. Paper and wood. But like that's extremely minimal, because you just build some universities, and then done. You get some academics, and then the academics, they're over here, and everything's cool. So like it's not that hard to make it so that you benefit a lot from building up an intelligentsia. And the easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is utilizing the empiricism technology in any form of democracy. Okay, that's Walker, and that's a really crazy but super fun critical technology video here on We Play Games. Like and subscribe. I'm making a bunch of these, but I'm also going through and just like editing up some of the older videos, mostly just adding timestamps. Only adding timestamps. Yeah, that's Walker.